Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Call with your host, Kerry Ramage, managing broker at Remax Elite, and Heather Holiday, your social marketing nut, talking about hottest real estate topics with a little weekly activity and motivation for the week. Well, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
It's early. Already going crazy, all that fun stuff.
Always, right? Always. Oh my goodness. So I say let's just get right into it. And as we're getting
It's
closer
one
and
of my
closer,
least favorite parts, kind of.
getting ready for the numbers part of our business planning. So setting goals and creating results is what we're going to talk about.
Yes, and I think for me, when we added that vision board element,
Mm-hmm.
everything clicked for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we were doing business planning, it was always, this. But when we added that vision board, it really got my juices flowing. So I'm super excited because that starts next week when we get to, elevate 2022.
I
mean,
know. I can't believe it.
this year is like flown by. It's like
Yep.
nuts.
Yep.
So, but knowing what my goals are, and that's one of our first things is kind of knowing what your goals are, to know what do your numbers need to be. Where were you at this year? Where did you fall? There's so many things that you need to reflect on and where we've done, but the numbers is, I mean, I like being able to work backwards and figure out what I'm going to do and
Right.
write them
Right.
in, break it
Right.
down, baby
For
step it.
sure, for sure. And I mean, and again, this has been an interesting year, just like 2020 what it was. And I was at a meeting yesterday, and somebody said, now that we've been in 2 years of COVID, and I was like, oh, we have. Like it literally March 1st was COVID, you know? And we really haven't been. We're almost at the 2 year mark, so it's been strange times. So hopefully everybody was, most people it seemed were successful in 2020. Hopefully they're being equally successful in 2021, and they can look forward to 2022, which hopefully will be more and more back to normal, and we can look at what we've done and set our goals. So yeah, like you said, the vision board, when we first did it, I was like, oh God, this is just
I thought it was very elementary, or gosh, we had the
totally.
poster board with the magazines and the scissors. And I liked last year when we kind of took it digital.
I liked it too because it made it kind of more, I don't know, it's more like what we're doing. We're more in a digital world now anyway. So yeah, so kind of, and we'll go through this over the next few weeks as we do the vision boards, and then we pull up our numbers, and then we have to decide what is the magic number you want to make to create that lifestyle that you want to live. Now, certainly a big part of us doing our numbers is pulling our expenses, personal and business. So obviously you have to make enough to cover those things, and then building on top of that.
Right. So it's not just business. I mean, like mine was, a lot of it was, I mean, my big goal for a long time, which I haven't been that great at, and this year finally, was making that time for myself, making the time for the family. So if there's a vacation you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
put that on there. If there's a cruise, I mean, there's so many different things, but it doesn't all have to be business. I mean, make sure to add in the personal things that you want to achieve. And what does it look like if I want to go to Hawaii with the family? What does that cost? How do I incorporate that into, okay, well, I need to make X amount to be able to
Right.
achieve all of this. Plus, still have the kitchen and bathroom models that everybody knows by now that didn't quite get done.
Right.
I have the stuff for my shower though. It just has to be put in.
I
Slowly.
haven't bought any of the things for my remodels because I'm afraid that I don't know what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid I'm going to buy the stuff and it'll just sit in the garage like.
Well, that's basically what it's happened for me. My problem is every time we do a big remodel, all the colors and everything changes. The whole styles change the year after we do it. Like I waited 7 years for the kitchen. Well, my kitchen felt outdated a year after we put it in. And it would
Right.
have been, it's like, ugh. So I'm like, okay, what's the new trends? Nobody is the gray and white, like everyone's over that by now. What do I do?
Well, it's I agree. It seems like, ooh, is that, yeah. So
Because I
anyway,
hear a lot of that, but I'm like, but I'm not seeing anything else. So come on,
right.
help me out here.
Right, right. What is going to be the next thing? But it's like, it feels like every house is gray and white. It's gray and white. So anyway, so we talked about we're going to do the vision board. We're going to set our financial goals and to achieve the required activity and what am I saying? Align them with the activities that we need to make those goals. Knowing your numbers, and I was just in Sylvia's office talking to her about this. Knowing the statistics, knowing what's going on in the market, that is super important. You need to know you are the gatekeeper to the information for your buyers and sellers. You're also the gatekeeper of the information for yourself, for your statistics, your numbers. You need to know what you're doing so you can get better.
And it surprises me how many people have no idea. No
Yeah.
idea where they're getting the business. They're flying by the seat of their pants. I
Yeah.
mean, they may be super lucky, but for me, it's like I like to know how people find me
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, why don't people know that?
Yeah. So, right, exactly. So what you're going to do is take your transactions from this year, the amount of commission you made, divide it by the number of transactions you had, and that will tell you how much commission per transaction on average you make. So, say your goal is $250,000 in gross commission, and your average commission is $5,000, say. Hopefully it's higher, but let's just say it is. You need to divide, I'm getting my calculator.
I don't know. I'm like,
200, what is she doing? 250,000 divided by, say your average commission is 5,000. That's low, by the way. You need to do 50 transactions if that's the case. So let's say your average commission is 7,500. That's probably more
realistic.
realistic in this market with the prices going up. Divided by 7,500, you need to do 33 transactions. 33 transactions in my mind is nothing. I feel like I could do that. I hate to say this, I could do that in my sleep, but I feel like I could do 33 in my sleep.
And then I like to break that down even further. How many is that per month? So that's my goal. And what do I, what are the calls? What do you need to be doing? What are the pillars to your business that you need to be doing? And if you're looking to, go higher than that, you know what you need to be doing.
Right.
I mean, it's just a
Right.
matter of knowing your numbers. What are your expenses? What do you want to achieve to know what that magic number is? And some coaches, just add a zero to that. So I want to make, $1 million.
Instead of $250,000, you want to make $2.5 million.
And that seems a bit unrealistic, but I do tell agents, so maybe they have that 250 and they've been right around there. Well, let's make that number 500
Right.
because I want you to be in the mindset. So the thing is, I feel agents will do and set their goal for that 250. Well, if I tell them, okay, no, let's bump that up to 500. What are the systems and tools and what do you need to be doing to make 500?
Right.
Because then you're going to be in a different mindset. What are the agents that are doing the 500? What are they doing in their business? What could you be modeling after giving it your own spin? Like, what are they doing differently than you? And then it puts you into that different mindset. So
right.
I always tell the agents double what you think. And I know a lot of them, like a lot of our agents, I think, go on like awards because sometimes they'll get close to an award and then,
Right.
it's so awesome when they when they finally get that award that they've been working hard for, which, I mean, that's, I think for us, that's always, award celebration is always not just for them, but we're like super happy because we are goal oriented and doing the business planning. So when an agent reaches that goal, it's just a celebration by us all, I believe.
Right, right, for sure, for sure. It's and that's the thing about goal setting. Like once you hit it, it's like, oh my God, I did it, because it should be almost out of reach for you.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And that's why it's like an agent will come up with their number and I'm like, no, let's double it and let's think on that mindset and think of someone who is doing that. What are they doing in their business? Because once you have the number, the amount of transactions, now we need to adjust the systems and tools and what are you doing in your actual business to be able to achieve that. And that's
right,
when we break it down. So it's, I mean, there's so many different parts to the book. And a lot of that is kind of brainstorming. What are the 10 things you're going to consistently be doing? What are you doing now that is, giving you that return that you can enhance? What are things that you can add in and implement and baby step it? Don't say in January, I'm going to add these 5 things to my business because that'll be great, because it won't be, because it'll be overwhelming and you won't do anything. So
right.
that's, it's like you always think of all these different things that you want to do. But for me, it's like this is what's always next to me
Yeah,
because it's my doing done. And it's
yeah,
given me 3 simple things to do every single month. I mean, you have 4 weeks in a month, so I should
right.
easily be able to add on 3 things. And one of them's going to be personal.
Oh, for sure. Like you still have to be taking care of personal stuff, and that needs to be part of your day to day. Yeah, yeah. So the next thing that we have to look at is what's your success rate. So do you get every listing that from the appointment you go on, or you get 80% of the listings, or do you get 90% of the listings, or 75% of the listings? Same thing with buyers. Do you successfully close every buyer you have? Probably not, even if you're the best agent ever, because sometimes the buyers just like I'm looking at my wall that's right there, where I have 2 buyers that decided to wait till next year. One rented and one was selling a house in California, moving to her Georgia house. And she was like, oh, I think I've taken on too much. So let me just get to Georgia. Then I'll figure out the Florida
Well,
house.
and I would even think in this market, it has to be frustrating. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
has to be. I mean, especially if they're in the lower market where you have such stiff competition. I mean, it's a hard market for everyone, especially if,
Right.
buying and coming up with different ideas and things to do. But
Right.
so
Right. For sure. For sure. I mean, I don't know. You're always, here's the thing, you always have to be educating yourself. You always have to know what's going on in the market and be able to offer something new and different, or more information, or being the expert, being the leader. That's really important.
no,
So
yeah,
figure out what your success rate is. So maybe, I have 80% success rate, say 80% of everybody I work with, I close. So then you can start to figure out how many people you need to talk to every day, how many touches, how many conversations, how many. I just shoot to do more than I'm supposed to. And it's funny, I was on Jared James the other day, and I think they're sending the replay out. So hopefully we'll get that and we can watch the replay. But I will tell you, Heather, watch Quintavious. He is just, to me, he's just amazing. But he was doing the thing. Oh, I'm looking a little crazy today. He was doing the thing about how many conversations he has, and he who does is doing record breaking business and is new in the industry, does not, he said, I don't have a CRM, I don't have any fancy technology. He said, I have my phone. And he said everybody he meets, he puts them as a contact, and then he rates them. That's what I was texting you to say, are you watching?
right, 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 right.
And then he rates them, like, so he puts that as their business name. So it would be Kerry Ramage, and then it would be like level 1 buyer, which means I'm ready to buy. So when he's going through to make contacts with people, he does a search for all his level 1 buyers and he makes contact with all of those people on the list. And I
Really?
just thought that was a super easy way to do this, like level 2 sellers, that meant, zero, not in the next 30 days, but in the next 80 days or 90 days. He also said if they're not ready to do anything for I think he said 3 months, that he doesn't even put them in his contacts. Yeah. Because he doesn't, he's looking for the immediate people who want to do stuff now. I don't know that that's the best way in the world. I think you still have to nurture, especially the people, that you've sold the house to today who will probably sell in 13 years. But I just thought that was genius. Level 1 buyer. He had different codes that he called it. And so he's like, so when I'm doing nothing, pull up my phone, pull up my contacts, do level 1 buyers, and those are the people I'm calling today. I thought it was a quick, easy way to do a CRM, especially for those of us who aren't good at doing CRMs.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really interesting. It was really interesting. So once you know what your success rate is, then you got to start to figure out how many touches, how many phone calls you got to make a day to touch, to convert those into your success. And to find who's ready to buy, who's ready to sell, who's ready to refer, honestly.
Gosh, yeah, that's
That's
crazy for sure.
Yeah. And you can always adjust your conversations, how many you need to have, or just shoot for more than you need to have. Just shoot for more than you need to have. And then
it can't hurt.
Then you're never going to be, worrying. You're going to be there all the time, and then once you've committed to your goal, I feel like I'm so tired today. Once you're committed to your goal, bring the right energy to get it done.
How appropriate. Oh, I'm so tired. Bring the right energy. Yeah. I think that's why a lot of coaches will say to have a mirror in front of you, as when you're making that call. Different quotes to me is the different quotes that are always right around me, just to get me in that right mindset.
It's funny you say that, like to have the mirror, because now that we're doing so much Zoom, right? I want to watch you talking. So if I'm watching you talking, I'm like this. So everybody out there in Zoom land, if you're watching me and you see me doing this, it's because I'm trying to watch the expression on Heather's face. But I really am supposed to be looking in the camera the whole time, so that you guys can see my face. And it's funny that you say that, like have the mirror in front of you so that you can look at yourself while you're having the conversation. But I can't do that in Zoom land because I'm here. And it's funny, a friend of mine is interviewing for a job, and she asked me the other day, this is like a round of interview. She was like on number 4 or 5, or she said it was like 7 steps or some craziness. Yeah, crazy. And she the one a couple of interviews ago was a Zoom, and she said, do you have any good tips of advice? And I said, my tip of advice is look at the camera. Look at the camera so that the person on the other end of the screen sees you looking right at them. And that's hard to do because you want to look at that person, especially in this case, because that person was asking her interview questions,
Right. And it does. It's something that you have to get used to.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at the camera. Yeah. My camera's above, my monitor. Everything's here. But then I got to look over because I have to change the little thingies, the scrolling text that goes, or, look at the comments so I can show. Right. I mean, there's so many elements, but I did notice on a playback, like my eyes I'm like all over the place.
Right.
But I'm like, I can't.
Right. You have to be. It's funny because someone was texting me the other day when we were live saying, you're not even paying attention. And I'm like, I'm paying attention, but my screens are over here. And that's how I chat with everybody. So I have to see who's chatting. And then I got to chat back. And that's also where my script is. I mean, not a script. We don't do a script. Most people can tell we're kind of a little bit.
Here's the topic.
We have a topic. We have a couple of bullet points, and we go
by the seat of our pants.
Exactly.
But I like that versus. I have seen shows where it is very scripted, so it's kind of like, here's our talking points, and usually we kind of look at that a couple minutes before the show or right before we click the record.
Exactly.
But I think then it's real, it's raw,
Yep.
it's not. I can't stand the scripted things where people look like they're reading. It drives
Oh,
me.
I know for sure. I mean, I know sometimes you have to, because you have to, you don't want to forget to hit the points that you want to hit, but that's why we have bullet points. But even now, as we're the hair, all right, the bangs. Now that I have the bangs, like, ooh. But even like when you watch like some of the coaches in real estate, and you go to more than one event, and then you realize, wow, that's the same thing, same jokes, same thing, and then you realize that's because this is really like a speech for them. You're telling a speech, so you have to hit the points and whatever, and the jokes usually are relevant to what you're doing. So, but anyway, so bring the energy and make sure you're prepared. Always make sure you are prepared. Always. Whether it's knowing the facts and figures, whether it's knowing about the neighborhood, whether it's knowing about all of those, I mean, really all of those things, knowing about your buyer or seller. I was on another thing the other day on the Jared James, and one of the guys said, I never bring a listing presentation with me. I go to the people's house to hear what they are wanting to have happen. I'm there to listen to them, tell me their story, so that I can help them achieve whatever goal it is they're wanting to achieve with the sale of their home.
Which is super important. And that was, I mean, I think I learned that very quick
Mm-hmm.
on, and I think it was really just having a meeting with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized how unnatural and how disconnected we were because they were just doing their presentation instead of talking and
Yeah.
really getting to know what I needed to have done and how they could help me. It was just like a script for them going through that presentation. And from that moment on, I've kind of hated presentations because I never want to
Mm-hmm.
be like that.
Right.
I mean, even, doing whatever I do, it's almost like having the good discussions, asking the correct questions. And then, yes, I have things that I can show because I'm a visual person,
Yeah.
but I really only want to touch on what's important to them. I don't want to just throw up crap
Yeah.
information that they don't care about because
Right.
you completely lose that disconnect. So I mean, I think that's super important for agents as you're thinking about how you do your presentations and the things that you want to, as you're thinking about next year and things that you want to do. I mean, I've already started my business planning, like probably because we've been, getting the book finalized and all that. So
Right.
we are shipping out the books. They're
Yes.
in Carrie's car.
They're in my car. I'm going to go
So
outside right now and bring them in here and start shipping them out.
yeah, so make sure to sign up for our Elevate 2022, which starts next Monday. I can't believe it already. So it'll be 4 weeks of fun. We have a private group so we can, privately have some fun in there. And all that fun stuff. So what is our agent action plan this week?
Send handwritten notes to at least 10 people in your sphere. We talk about the
When
handwritten.
does postage go up?
Oh, I don't know.
So it may be a good time if it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
Get those note cards out before postage goes up.
exactly.
I
Good
have a whole
idea.
roll of stamps, and I don't know if they're forever stamps.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
crap, better get this. I have like a whole box of stuff I need to get out.
If you're getting stamps, get some forever stamps for sure.
Definitely.
And
And I love these words of wisdom because it's one of my pet peeves is don't be busy, be productive. So many
I
people
like that.
do busy work, but it's not productive work. And it's been I don't know, this past week, I've been hearing a lot of that. Don't just be busy, but be productive.
Yeah.
And then I guess we'll just see everyone next week, but make sure to sign up for Elevate and 2022 as we do our business planning. If you want, I mean, of course, you'll get a digital copy of the book on registration. If you want a book, we're just doing it at cost because those little boogers were kind of expensive and maybe we'll get sponsors or something to help pay for that. But so
Right.
it's just that cost, but we'll get those out to you because Kerry is getting them out of her car today so we can get those out in the mail.
Exactly.
But I think that's it. So until next week, wake up, kick ass, and repeat.
Yes. And
Bye,
we will
guys.
see you